Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we streamline your pursuit of knowledge. Today, you've tasked us with making sense of the huge amount of analysis around a really big book. Angela Duckworth's Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance.
And we know you want the shortcut.
Yeah.
Not just a summary, but, the context, the core ideas, and maybe even some of the controversy around it.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is to pull out the most important insights from all those reviews and articles. We want to give you a full, well-rounded understanding of the central argument, what makes it so powerful, and where the criticisms lie.
If that word grit has been popping up everywhere in your professional or academic life, well, there's a good reason for it. Duckworth's work is pretty foundational now to how we talk about success.
And at its heart, there's this one very provocative statement that sort of reframes everything we think we know about high achievement.
That's it. Exactly. The core thesis is actually pretty straightforward. It's that long-term success depends far more on sustained effort and passion than it does on just raw, innate talent.
So grit isn't just about working hard.
No, it's more specific. She defines grit as a blend of two things. Persistence, yes, but also a deep, sustaining passion for a very long-term goal.
Okay, let's unpack that premise, because for a lot of people, that's counterintuitive. Our culture is obsessed with talent, right? The prodigy, the natural.
Right.
And Duckworth is basically arguing that talent is vastly overrated. So how does she justify demoting it to a secondary role?
She uses this really compelling mathematical concept that acts as the backbone for the whole argument. She argues that effort actually counts twice in the equation of achievement.
Twice? How does that work? What does that equation even look like?
So she breaks it down into two steps. The first one is talent multiplied by effort equals skill.
Okay, that makes sense. You might have a knack for something, but you need to practice to get good at it.
Precisely. Effort builds the tool. But then, and this is the key part, comes the second step. Skill multiplied by effort equals achievement.
So effort shows up again.
It shows up again. It means even if two people have the exact same level of skill, the person who applies more sustained effort, the one with more persistence, is going to achieve more in the long run.
So someone with, say, low natural talent but maximum effort could potentially blow right past a lazy genius.
That's the idea. And it's a fundamentally empowering message.
But how does she prove this actually works in the real world? It can't just be a theory.
No, she doesn't rely on hypotheticals at all. She builds her case using research from, well, a whole range of different groups. We're talking about West Point military cadets in these grueling training programs.
Okay, high stakes.
Very. And also National Spelling Bee contestants, Olympic athletes, top-tier educators.
So really demanding environments where you'd think talent would be everything.
You would think. But in all these cases, she found that grit, that combination of passion and persistence, was a better predictor of who would succeed than measures of talent or even IQ alone.
But if we just focus on effort, isn't there a risk of this just becoming a new word for, like, mindless workaholism?
And that's where the passion part becomes absolutely critical. It's the single most important distinction.
Right.
Grit isn't just grinding away endlessly. It requires that sustained passion for the goal. Because without that deep underlying interest, you hit a wall, you face a setback, and you give up.
Passion is the fuel.
It's the fuel that keeps the persistence from becoming this pointless, unsustainable drudgery. It reframes the whole thing. If you're struggling to persist, maybe the issue isn't your work ethic, but that you haven't found the goal you're truly passionate about yet.
Which leads us to the most hopeful part of the whole book. If success depends so much on things we can control, like effort and finding our passion, then it's not just fate.
Exactly. The entire book is a challenge to that kind of fatalism.
So if grit matters this much, can we actually get more of it? Is it a fixed trait?
And the answer, very clearly, is no. The book's framework is built entirely on this positive message that grit isn't fixed. It can be grown, it can be nurtured and strengthened as long as you use the right tools.
Which is great news. So for you listening right now, if you want to apply this, what is that framework? What are the tools Duckworth gives for cultivating grit?
She lays out 4 core components, and the first one is absolutely crucial: deliberate practice.
Meaning?
It's not just putting in hours. It means you're constantly pushing yourself just a little bit outside your comfort zone. You're identifying your weaknesses, and you're strategically working to improve them.
So it's about making the effort productive, not just being present. What's next?
Next is the power of reflection. You have to continually ask yourself, what worked here? What didn't? You learn from your failures and you adapt. That's how your effort gets smarter over time.
Okay, deliberate practice reflection, number 3.
Number 3 is building habits. Grit benefits so much from routines and structures. They minimize how much you have to rely on pure willpower every single day. You automate the effort so you can save your mental energy for the bigger challenges.
And the last piece, I feel like this one connects to a lot of modern psychology.
It does. It's fostering a growth mindset. This is that core belief that your abilities can and will change with focused effort. If you don't fundamentally believe you can improve, you'll never put in the work required to actually do it.
It sounds like they all work together in a kind of feedback loop. A growth mindset gets you started, deliberate practice refined your effort, and habits keep you going.
That's a great way to put it. Now, for anyone interested in going straight to the source material, especially the audiobook, it's a bit of an investment. It runs around 9 hours and 20 minutes.
9 hours is long. How does it hold up over that time?
Remarkably well. And a huge reason for that, which reviewers point out all the time, is that Duckworth narrates it herself.
Oh, that makes a big difference.
A huge difference. It's not some detached voice actor. It's her sharing her life's work. Her delivery is so clear and authentic, and it really helps you stay locked in, even when she gets into the denser research sections.
So her personal touch really carries it. Let's shift a bit to the overall strength. For someone looking to gain applicable knowledge, what are the big wins from this book?
The biggest thing reviewers highlight is the balance she finds between, serious academic research and real, accessible stories. She mixes the hard data with these powerful, relatable examples.
Which helps the ideas stick.
Exactly. It anchors these abstract psychological concepts in real life. You don't just understand a theory, you actually see it in action. And of course, beyond the practicality, the core message itself is just so empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. The idea that you can nurture this trait, that it's not just something you either have or you don't.
It completely refocuses the conversation. It's about passion and hustle being the real drivers,
Yeah.
not some talent lottery you lost at birth. It turns success into a marathon you can actually train for.
And those principles, passion plus perseverance, they apply everywhere.
Everywhere. It doesn't matter if your goal is athletic, academic, professional. The underlying mechanism of setting a long-term goal and relentlessly pursuing it is incredibly useful.
Okay, but to be well-informed, you have to look past the praise. A book this influential is going to have counter-arguments. So what are some of the weaknesses or criticisms?
Well, structurally, the most common thing you hear is about repetition. The core ideas are so foundational that, some listeners feel she circles back to them quite a few times over those 9 hours.
So it can feel a little drawn out in places.
It can, especially if you like your content really tight.
Huh.
But then there are the bigger, more critical academic and societal critiques. And this is where the debate gets really interesting.
Go on.
Critics argue that the book, for all its great research, might be guilty of oversimplification. The intense focus on personal drive and grit. It can kind of gloss over some really complex social realities.
Oversimplification in what way? Is this a more sophisticated version of pull yourself up by your bootstraps, regardless of where you start?
That is the absolute heart of the critique. Critics point out that vital external factors like your socioeconomic background, opportunities, systemic barriers, they matter a lot. And when you focus the lens so tightly on an individual's perseverance, you risk overlooking the fact that some people face huge structural roadblocks that prevent them from even applying that effort in the first place.
So the message could unintentionally place all the blame for failure on the individual while ignoring the bigger, messier societal picture.
Exactly. And that individual focus leads to other critiques too. For example, the book doesn't really get into the balance between grit and self-care. There's a real risk of burnout if you pursue a goal relentlessly without managing your own well-being.
That's a huge caveat. And what about teamwork? So much of modern achievement is collaborative.
Another great point. The book's principles are applied mostly to an individual's journey. It doesn't focus as much on how grit functions within a team, where success also depends on collaboration, delegation, and knowing when to pivot.
That's all really crucial context. So let's synthesize this. Who really benefits most from diving into grit?
The intended audience is crystal clear. If you're looking for introspective, research-driven motivation, you are going to love this. It's also perfect for professionals and students with huge long-term goals that feel overwhelming. It gives you a real framework for persistence.
But based on the reviews, we should add a caution.
Yes. If you're looking for a broader social or structural analysis of success, if you want to understand how things like institutions and economics play a role, then the book's individual focus might feel a bit narrow.
So what's the final verdict?
My final take is that Grit is a thoughtful, well-narrated, and important work. It successfully challenges that myth of natural talent and puts perseverance and passion back at the center of the conversation. It's highly practical and empowering, even with a little repetition and that narrow individual focus.
So we've got this immense power of individual persistence on one side, but we also have to acknowledge the role of the external environment and opportunity on the other.
It's a powerful tension, isn't it, between the personal and the societal.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you to explore. If Duckworth's formula is true, that effort counts twice, first to build skill and then to achieve. What happens when systemic barriers prevent someone from applying that first layer of effort? If the opportunity to practice, to build that initial skill, is blocked, does the concept of passion still hold the same power?
Think about how your own drive connects to the world you operate in, and how grit can thrive within or sometimes against those boundaries.
That's all for this deep dive. Go apply this knowledge, and we'll catch you next time.